Your Steve Jones Show podcast is loading now. The Steve Jones Show podcast is sponsored by Sunbury Motors, North 4th Street in Sunbury, and Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf.
When it comes to car buying, there's the other guy's way, and then there's the SMC way. The other guys force you into a vehicle you really don't want. The Sunbury Motors way lets you take the time you need to browse, ask questions, and take the test drive and think on it. For over 100 years, the Mertz family and all their employees have made your experience the most pleasant one you'll ever have. The other guys won't offer you the best price for your trade, no matter how much they say they will. The SMC way is their promise to provide you with the most money the market shows your vehicle is worth. The SMC way is to offer you all applicable factory rebates on new vehicles and generous discounts. Looking for a pre-owned vehicle? The SMC way checks each vehicle in a 200-mile radius to determine the lowest price, then beat it. It's the lowest price promise, just part of the SMC way. The choice is up to you, the other guy's way or the SMC way. The SMC way wins every time. Sunbury Motors Company in the North 4th Street Auto Plaza, Sunbury, and at sunburymotors.com. Selling more cars and satisfying more customers for over 100 years.
Sports talk where your voice counts. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
It is the Steve Jones Show for Thursday. We're to the second day of July already. Chad Hirschberger sitting in the producer chair today, filling in for Matt Catrillo, who is off all week this week. And we're getting set for the 4th of July weekend, as most people, I would suspect, like myself, have a day off tomorrow. So we have a long 3-day weekend and lots to think about this weekend as first Independence Day in my lifetime where we've had a pandemic. So we will get to all the sports news of the day with Steve, who will be with us shortly from the Sunbury Motors studio. Sunbury Motors, North 4th Street in Sunbury. Great place to go get your next automobile. And we also will be having Sandy Barbour on. She was talking earlier this week about the prospects of Penn State football for the fall and who might be able to be at Beaver Stadium whenever there is a game, should there be games this fall, which is what they're starting to have practice for, and they're anticipating that they'll be able to play. But we will see what is going to happen there with Penn State football coming up this fall. So, news item, because I'm doing double duty today, also doing the late day news roundup as well. And there was a news item today from State College. The first Penn State student has died from COVID-19. And we'll have details on that coming up on the late day news roundup after 5 here on News Radio 1070 WKOK. But he was in State College a month ago, lived in off-campus housing, got sick, went home to the Allentown area, and then got diagnosed with COVID-19, had some respiratory problems, and unfortunately died on Tuesday. So Penn State had a statement out about that today, extending their condolences to the family, and also if any student had contact with him, to have them get in touch with University Health Services, as they would want them to know that. So that going on as well in the region. And of course, yesterday the governor asked everybody to, actually didn't ask, ordered everybody to wear masks out in public. So if you are doing something this weekend, you will, and it's not at a private place like your home, if you are out in public, you will need to make sure you wear your mask, because Governor Wolf has ordered that to be done. If you want to get in touch with the show, you can give us a call at the Steve Jones Show number. Unfortunately, I can't remember that. Kevin, help me out.
There we go.
1-800-795-9565.
There we go.
Steve is there. We had a little technical problems here. The suit is in the house to fix them. See, I just started talking, and he came and took care of business for me, so. Good afternoon,
good afternoon. It's I can already explain to you the issue, and I can tell you how he fixed it. There's a certain part that we have that is made in the old Soviet Union. You hit it on the side because all it understands is force. All right, so there you go.
I was telling.
Sue, thank you.
That's what I'm here for.
Thumbs up. He said that's what he's here for.
Yeah. Well, of course, I'm the one that diagnosed the problem. So you'll have to admit to that.
Did you just have to, hit the on-off switch? Oh, he hit it on the side. He says, "Okay."
He understands. All right. What we will have today is we will hear from Sandy Barbour today. Her teleconference yesterday had with it a lot of information that a lot of fans are going to want to listen to. It's going to cover from 3:30 to 4:30 when it's all said and done. Don't worry, Chad. We will take a break. Okay. Now, we don't have a show tomorrow, correct?
That is correct. We are on a holiday schedule here at the radio station, so I believe CBS Sports Radio will be on tomorrow afternoon.
Well, that means we need to tell everybody that today's show is brought to you by Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket. Imports, domestics, microbrews, best selection of beer anywhere, wine coolers, water, soft drinks, snacks. They roast their peanuts fresh and hot every day.
And the pickle bar.
Led by the barrels and the dills. Indeed, second to none. But on these 80-degree and 90-degree days,
it's supposed to be 97 on Saturday.
I would like to point out that they have not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, but 6 different flavors of slushies, of which the suit has sampled all of them multiple times. All at Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket.
You think there's a big market this weekend for, beverages, pretzels, pickles?
Hey, go on out today and stock up for the weekend. Stock up for the weekend. All at Brewers Outlet. That's what you need to do. That'll make a big difference. Looking forward to that very much. And do you have any big plans this weekend?
None other than picnic on Saturday afternoon at my folks' place. They have invited us over. Yeah,
nice.
So we're in charge of dessert. So.
Oh, and what dessert are you bringing?
I don't know what my wife's making. I asked her, and she said, "I'll take care of it." So she likes to make cookie bars, so we'll probably have some kind of cookie bar.
Ooh, I'm loving that. That's really good.
The snickerdoodles are really good.
Snickerdoodles, huh? Wow, great. But we're going to hear from Sandy Barbour today, and that will be starting at 3:35 today, just to get everybody just a feel for what the thought process is right now. As we pointed out, how we feel on July 2nd is different than how we felt on May 2nd, which is different than how we felt on April 2nd. How are we going to feel on August 2nd? We're all waiting to see. And that's all part of this process, the wait-to-see process.
Has she given any indication on if they have a date on when they will make a quote-unquote final decision?
Did not. So did not say that. 25 NBA players are now tested positive for coronavirus, but that's out of 351. That's 1 in 14. Then they tested the 884 staff members. There were 10 out of 884. So was it 35? Let's do some quick math here. So that's 35 out of, well, I guess it's safe to say it's 1,200. So let's say, let's do a number here, number search in terms of the percentage. So you get a total of 35 positives with 1,210. That's 2.8%. Or check it, 2.9%. Need to round up properly. 2.9% positive between the players and the staff members. Cameron Champ, who had to withdraw after a positive test in Hartford on the PGA Tour for the Travelers. If you're asking, why is he playing this weekend? Well, he's playing this weekend because he was asymptomatic and then took 3 tests in a row, and they're all negative. So he's back. Harris English didn't participate last week. Mentioned he had a positive. Guess what? He's now tested 3 times in a row negative. He's allowed to play again. Baseball will be Penn State will be announcing its numbers, but not names. Do not expect anybody's name to be announced if they've tested positive here. The 102 tests have been for all the football players, men's and women's basketball players. They are awaiting the results of men's and women's soccer and women's volleyball. So that's what they're waiting for. So Penn State has had 102 tests so far. All those tests are for football, men's basketball, women's basketball. They're all negative to this point. The next time they'll release any kind of numbers will be in 2 weeks, which will be July the 15th, which is also tax day, by the way.
And I was sharing when we were having the problem connecting with you, Steve, that it was announced today that not a sports player, but a Penn State student, 21 years old, died
Yes.
This week from COVID.
Yes. So, again, that just reemphasizes the vulnerability. And our deepest condolences to the friends and family of that young person. So Penn State is, and they've already tested these athletes. The men's and women's soccer players and the women's volleyball players have already been tested. They just don't have all the results yet because this was the week that they came in to go through their 7-day quarantine and then the ability to get back to workouts. Field hockey shows up here on Monday. So they'll go through their testing next week, go through their 7-day quarantine, then Charmaret Curtis's team can get going. And then football can get out there and do more workouts on July 13th, then expand it on July 24th. So that's what's going on here right now.
Do you think that there are the players who are returning, they are really off because the routine is different? I know even for me, I feel very off this summer because my routine is way off. Do you think that has any impact on their practicing as they're getting ready?
Well, they'll start really practicing. I mean, because right now they've been taking some time over at State High, and they've been doing some 7-on-7 work and so forth. Yeah, look, are you going to have to work out some rust? Yeah, of course you are. Are the workouts a little bit different than what you were used to doing? Yeah, absolutely. Because your home workouts are going to be absolutely different than what you're trying to do. And look, and Dwight Galt, I was talking to Dwight Galt a few weeks ago, and this is before everybody got back in. He said, Steve, I've been trying to manage 123 players, he said, from my dining room. And I thought, well, yeah, that's probably true. And so that's not easy because not every teams are across.
You're listening to the Steve Jones Show here on News Radio 1070 WKOK. And it appears we have lost connection with Steve once again, so we will reconnect with Steve, and we will hear from Sandy Barbour coming up right here on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
Taking your calls at 800-795-9565. This is The Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now, from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Today's show brought to you by Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury. The Beverage Supermarket, imports, domestics, microbrews, best selection of beer anywhere, wine coolers, water, soft drinks, snacks. They roast their peanuts fresh and hot every day. And the Pickle Bar, led by the Barrels and the Dills, indeed second to none. And they have 6 different flavors of slushies, and on a hot, muggy day, you want a slushie. All at Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the Beverage Supermarket. Stock up for the 4th of July weekend now. And we're in the Sunbury Motors Studio, Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. All right, I was saying just before the break, I said, you asked about the players being in shape and so forth. I talked to a couple of players after the first day of workouts, and they told me, I'm trying to get back in the groove here. Okay. So then I saw them maybe a little more than a week later. Same 2 players. And they said, easier? They said, yeah, except he steps it up every single week. So, yeah, he said, but the routine is easier. So to get to your point, Chad, yeah, the routine's easier, but the workouts also step up each week in difficulty as well. Okay. All right, let's get to Penn State's Vice President for Intercollegiate Athletics, Sandy Barbour. She had a chance to talk with the media yesterday and handled a wide range of questions.
Glad to see you again, Dave. Glad to see you're still sitting in that chair. And obviously, this is for effect a little bit. Just how important, not having anything to do with Penn State athletics, but just to our society and our community, how important wearing our masks has become. Really proud of our student athletes and our coaches and the way that they've adopted this. And again, just wanted to open up this opportunity with kind of that emphasis for how important this is. So I'll take it off now and let you see my smiling face. And it is good to see everybody. I hope everybody continues to be healthy and safe at obviously what's a really challenging time, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk a little bit about some of the things that we're going through, hear from you all what's important and what questions that you have. But I do just want to start with this being July 1. We've kind of put the last academic year, and yes, the last fiscal year in the books for us. But although it was a very difficult and challenging year, and obviously our winter sports and our spring sports getting truncated, many of which we had extremely high expectations for. It still was a really good year. It seems like this was many moons and perhaps even decades ago. But in the fall, our women's soccer team won the Big Ten tournament title. Football went to its third New Year's Six bowl game in the last 4 years. Men's soccer went to the NCAAs for the first time in 5 years. And as I said, we were poised to have really outstanding winter and spring sports based on the polls and the results that had been achieved to that point. Kind of burned in our brains now, of March 12th. And on the other side of things that obviously continued on, the academic piece, kind of the bedrock of Penn State and Penn State athletics, that record graduation success rate, NCAA graduation success rate of 91%. Really proud of the effort that has gone behind that, and the continued effort to continue to try to best that. From an APR standpoint, 986 for the department, which is 3 points above the national average. Again, we need to continue to get better there, but we had a record 20 teams that had perfect single year APRs for that cohort of data that just came in, including football with its first 1,000, which is a perfect score, its first 1,000 single year score in the history of the APR for the NCAA. And then we had 6 teams with perfect multi-year, the 4-year APR scores. We set a school record, another school record, with 144 Big Ten distinguished scholars for the year. And we honored our spring sports student athletes, our spring sports seniors, in the very, very best way we could. This is under the circumstances. This is where social media has been a real positive in giving us an opportunity to say thank you and say goodbye to a number of seniors, all of our seniors, who have been really, really important to us, not only from a success in a competitive venue, but certainly in the classroom and maybe most importantly in the community and in life. We have between 20 and 25 class of 2020 seniors who have taken advantage of the NCAA's extended eligibility and our open invitation for them to return for 2021. I think I said to you all probably the last time we gathered that that's at an additional expense to us of somewhere between $600,000 and $700,000. Obviously, not a small feat in this really, really difficult time that includes economics and it includes the finances. But I'm pleased to tell you today, not unexpectedly, our donors, our passionate Penn Staters, have stepped up and have completely funded that fund and that cost for us. So once again, Penn Staters have stepped up to help out in our time of need here. And then probably lastly on the subject of kind of overall success and overall efforts this year have been the things that we pivoted to that we've pivoted towards during COVID-19 and during the shelter in place, whether they be our Helping Happy Valley and helping to promote and support local businesses and local efforts, as well as our blue-white tailgates. Our coaches and our staffs have engaged with the community in innumerable virtual ways. So really, really proud of the efforts there. And again, kind of the thirst and the hunger from our community to remain close and remain engaged with Penn State and with Penn State athletics. Switching to more COVID-19 related subjects, as you're very well aware, we have football, men's and women's basketball, men's and women's soccer, and women's volleyball who have reported back to campus. Those latter 3 are still in their 7-day quarantine. But all continues to go well for us. I've been very impressed, again, not unexpected, but certainly impressed with the diligence and the discipline with which our students and our staff are following our protocols and following the safety standards to make sure that we do this in a safe and healthful way. From obviously, COVID-19 is not the only difficult thing going on in our community and in our country. The social injustice and and the racial insensitivity issues continue and have been illuminated during this time. I'm honored to serve along with 9 other Penn Staters and along with over 150 from our conference on the Big Ten Anti-Hate, Anti-Racism Coalition, and I'm certainly looking forward to that work. The fact of the matter is, this has been going on for far, far too long, and we haven't found a way to properly address it, solve it, eradicate hate and racism, and so we need to find new ways and or more effective ways, and that's something that I've been really proud of. How particularly our student athletes, our staff has certainly joined in. Coaches and staff have certainly joined in, but particularly our student athletes have stepped up, and I've been doing a lot of listening. Because frankly, obviously, I haven't and we haven't found the answer here. So I'm really proud of the way that our department has stepped up from a voice standpoint. We've got a lot of work to do. We all individually and collectively have work to do to get better. We all have made mistakes and all need to get better there. But we've had a lot of great conversations either amongst teams or amongst our staff just in the last in the last month or so. But frankly, we've done a lot of this work in the last few years, whether it be work around culture and inclusive and safe and welcoming environments, or very specific work. We've got some terrific folks at Penn State, faculty and staff, that do very good work around implicit bias, and the athletic department has engaged in that as well. So lots of work ahead, but again, on a number of fronts, very proud of what our students and staff have done just in the last month or so. And then finally, back to directly COVID related. We obviously have been testing our student athletes and staff upon their return. We have, as a university and as an athletic department, made a decision that we will report those results every 2 weeks. We'll do it on Wednesday. I don't know that I will always be the bearer of the of the testing results, but we will make those public every 2 weeks up until such time as the university returns all of our students, and then we'll make a decision at that time how those results might be folded in there. So today I can tell you that we've had 102 student athlete tests as of June 30th, and we have had 0 positives in those 102 tests. So that's a little bit of information on our testing there. And I think, Chris, I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you very much, Sandy. Our first question will come from Neil Rudell at the Altoona Mirror. Neil, if you can accept the unmute.
Sorry, imagine that glitch. Hi, Sandy. Thank you.
Neil, how we doing?
Good. 0 tests. That's impressive. Just
no, 102 tests, 0 positives.
0 positives. Don't confuse me with the facts. Just curious if you could jump into. Yes, we saw Michigan. Have you guys addressed pay adjustments? Have you felt like you have to do that, or do you expect to maybe get through without having to trim pay some salaries?
Yeah, as you all are aware, obviously there's a lot that continues to be unknown. We certainly are modeling a number of different scenarios. I think we're at the point, and I've had the conversation with our head coaches. I've had the conversation with our management team about what the possibility might be around pay reductions. We had an all-staff last week where I mentioned it to the entirety of the staff, just so that they would be aware. I do think, again, without certainty, but that our financial challenges, our revenue shortfalls are going to be of a magnitude that we will need to take some steps around pay. As I indicated, I've had these conversations both collectively and in many cases individually with coaches and our leadership team. To a man and a woman, they're prepared to step up and help with this cause should that be the case. And I think at this point it's probably safe to say that will be the case. All the details obviously still need to be worked out. You're on mute, Chris.
Fail. It's a big fail on my part. I was unmuting Tyler and didn't unmute myself. Tyler Donahue from Lions 24/7.
Hi, good afternoon, Sandy. Thanks for the time today.
Absolutely, Tyler. Thanks for joining in.
Thank you. The last few weeks, we've seen this phase return for the Penn State football program, and obviously a lot of eyes are fixated on football because of the financial revenue. How would you assess these first few weeks with the team back on campus, and what do you think as far as new challenges will be presented when the rest of the student population joins in late August?
Yeah, thanks for this question, because I think it's great credit to our team, meaning our staff and our performance team, our sports medicine team, Penn State Health, who obviously are our sports medicine partners in this. Incredible work done to prepare for the time, 3 weeks ago now, where our first team, which was football, did return. The preparation, the detail in the protocols, the interaction with experts, our experts amongst our faculty, our experts at Penn State Health, our experts within the state. We've certainly, from a sports standpoint, have looked to the NCAA, looked to, in the sport of football, looked to the American Football Coaches Association, so been a tremendous amount of collaboration here. But our performance team, in conjunction with Penn State Health, has really carried the lumber here. And when it was time to start bringing teams back, we were ready. We had been educating our students for at least several weeks, if not longer than that, about what this might look like, what the disease was all about, why it's important to wear a mask, why it's important to wash your hands, all of those kinds of things. I mean, let's face it, we all want to know the why behind something that we're being asked to do, because you're more likely to get buy-in there. So that's the first half of what's been going on. And again, I publicly want to thank our sports med folks and Penn State Health and our performance team for what they've done here. But the second half is the students. To some degree, the staff, who have to follow the protocols, of course. But our students operate in an age group and in a culture where it is all about connection. And engagement, and we're asking them now to stop doing that in the way that they've traditionally done it. But I will tell you this: our 6 teams now that are back have been so disciplined. There's been a glitch here or there, which again is where your protocols come in. That number one, they identify that a glitch happened. And number 2, then it gets addressed. But I've been really impressed with our student athletes and their dedication to this, their understanding of it, their understanding how important it is. First and foremost, to their teammates' health, their coaches' health, the community's health, but also to their ability to potentially play the sport they love. And that applies to all 6 of these teams. So I take my hat off to them. For the seriousness with which they've applied this. I do think some of that is related to and is directly attributable to the amount of education that they've been provided in the last probably 6 weeks. But I do give them a lot of credit for the way they've approached this. PJ Mustafer spoke to our all staff, obviously virtually, last week. And it was really pretty powerful because he didn't just say, yeah, we got to wear our masks and we got to do this with it. He went through detail by detail about what the policies and procedures and protocols are as they relate to entering Haluba and lifting and getting their meals and doing. I mean, it was clear that those protocols and the procedures, he had taken them. They've been internalized and they understand why they're important and they're following them. So I take my hat off to him.
Sandy Barbour, more with her in the next half hour. There's a lot more information to come here. Today's show brought to you by Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket. And we're in the Sunbury Motors studio. Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. And online at sunburymotors.com on News Radio 1070 WKOK.